Hello and welcome to this Basics of Python tutorial. In this video we are going to have a look at variables. We're going to find out what they are and some of the basic things you can do with them. If you're looking for something a bit more advanced, check out some of my other videos where you'll find other things that you can do with a variable. First thing that you need to know about a variable is what is a variable? Well, it is a value that you can store in Python, so it's a way of storing a value, but also you can change that value during the program. So let's have a look at making our first variable. And we need to have a name for our variable, so our Python module knows what the variable is called. You can call it pretty much whatever you like. There are a few words in Python that are reserved. They've got special jobs already, but pretty much any other word is fine. So one of the reserved words, for example, is print. You couldn't have a variable called print. So my variable that I'm going to make, I'm going to call it score. So I write score, like so. And then I'm going to use a special symbol in Python called an assignment operator. Now you might recognize an assignment operator as an equal sign. We don't call it an equal sign because there is another way of signaling equal in Python that we'll have a look at again in a different video. But the special name for the equal sign used in this scenario is the assignment operator. So if I'm going to use the word assignment operator from here on out, please don't get that muddled up. So I've got the name of my variable, I've got my assignment operator. Now I'm ready to tell my program what is the value of my variable, and I'm going to have a number. I'm going to have an integer value as the value of my variable. So I'm just going to choose 6. Okay, and what I can do with that is I can print that variable. But I'm going to write print like so, and in my brackets I'm not going to put speech marks for this because I'm not printing a string, I'm printing the value of my variable. Now I'm not going to write 6, instead I'm going to write the name. So I'm asking it to print whatever the value of the variable score is. So if I run this now, see what happens. So we're going to run it, and what are we expecting to happen? Well, let's have a look. Right, you can see it prints the value. It's printed 6. Hasn't printed the word score. It's printed what the score was worth, what we'd assigned to it, the value we'd assigned to it using that assignment operator. So we've got 6. Okay, very nice. But what else can we do with it? Well, we can change that variable, like I said. So I could put another line down here, line 3, I've got score again, and I'm going to say this time score is equal to 4. Okay. Now Python, one thing that you might not know, is Python reads from top to bottom. So it'll start at the very top of your script and it will read its way down. So it does things in order. So it's going to read line 1 and it's going to set the score variable to 6. When it gets to the bottom, it's going to print what the score variable's worth. So think about what you think is going to happen when I run this program, bearing in mind it reads from top to bottom. So if I run it, let's have a look and see what we get. So on this occasion we get 4. So what's happened there? Well, it's read the first line and it's set the variable to 6. But then it's gotten to the third line and it's gone, oh, I know about that variable score. I've already set that, it was 6. I've got a new instruction here. This time it's got to be set to 4. So it updates the value of that variable. So it changes it from a 6 to a 4. And then it prints it. So that's why you get the print of the number 4. Okay. A little bit more interesting. We can do something with it. What about if I give it a calculation? So what about if I say something like, okay, score is now 6 add 4. What's going to happen there? Well, it should be pretty easy to predict based on what we know. It's going to start off as 6, but what's it going to print? Let's have a look. So running that program again, and we get 10. Yeah, should have been pretty easy to predict because it's done the calculation. It's understood that actually you've got score is 6 add 4. It added them together, it got 10. So this is nice. It's like a very glorified calculator, I suppose. But what else can we do with it? Well, I can actually use the variable score in a calculation. So if I want to use score times what will I get now? What is this worth? What will the calculation print in the end? Let's have a look. Let's run it. Right, so we get 36. So what's happened there? Well, we set score to be worth 6. And then we say, actually, I'm going to change the value of score. I'm going to have score times 6. Well, when we started off, we said score was 6. So this is really 6 times 6. So it makes sense, really, that it would actually come up with the answer 36, because it's just 6 times 6. Okay, one last thing then. We'll try one more thing before we move on. If I do score times score, but I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this to 4. So score is 4. And then I'm going to change score to score times score. What do we think is going to happen? Where is this going to go? What's going to be printed? Let's run it. Let's find out. There we go. Right. I've got 16 as my answer. So where did that come from? How do you think it printed the number 16? If you've got an idea of how that happened, pop it in the comments. Maybe help some other people out. If you think you can come up with a calculation that might be interesting, again, drop that in the comments. Let's see what we can come up with. Thank you for watching. Check out some of my other basics of Python if you want to try a few other things in Python.